Oops. Hi everybody, it's me, Miss Tina Z. Your favorite gender non-conforming ukulelist and vocalist. I just knocked down all my stickers from Memphis Uke N Roll. Yay! I'm back, and what a segue into why I'm speaking to you in the middle of the daytime, which is unusual for me. And I have business neighbors next door, so I'm keeping it down a little bit. Yeah, what a segue that is, because this video, if I can manage to get through it, is a thank you video regarding Memphis Uke N Roll, the ukulele festival I was lucky enough to attend and perform at, whatever, you know what I'm saying, last weekend. And the first thing that I did, I made a photo dump post on Facebook, on the Goober Crew Facebook page, and the first adjective that I used regarding the weekend was significant. And I don't think I've yet processed completely how significant it was. But I'm going to make an attempt at it. I'm just going to spitball right here, okay? Okay. It included so many, oh gosh, wonderful, wonderful moments, and so many firsts for me. First time as my full self, walking on a city street amongst people I didn't know. First time stepping up to a microphone as myself, by myself. First time meeting my sister, which sounds odd as heck. I mean, she, of course, knew I'm this, but only in video form. We had never, ever hung out in person. And, gosh, my sister, Angie, the grace with which you treated me, especially considering I was oh boy, I was an insecure child. And I often was not a nice sibling because of that. And I'm so relieved that she doesn't, well, maybe she does hold grudges, but I don't think so. Gosh, I was just treated with love by my sister, and I appreciate that, because I love her dearly. So many other firsts, and so many other magical moments. First time that people used my name. So yeah, the adjective significant doesn't even begin to describe it. And I mean, people, of course, have responded to me online and used my name. They use my name all the time, but it's the first time people have just had conversation. Hey Tina, where do you want to go for lunch? Or hey Tina, are you nervous about your show? Or whatever, or some beautiful compliment about my videos or whatever, and using my name. That's the first time that's happened in my lifetime, and whew. That's a big deal. And so, and oh gosh, the heart-to-heart talks with people, including P.D. Mac. Well, I'm not gonna name everybody, but wow. Okay, so to adequately describe significance, I need to tell a story. I need to tell a personal story. And if you're not interested in that, just skip ahead to the end of the video. And thank you for watching this far. So, significant. You have no idea. My Tina-ness has been part of me my entire life. And I know this because we lived in this little town, York, Nebraska. Stan knows all about York, Nebraska. So we lived in this little town. And when I was 4 years old, we moved into a bigger house. We had a small house to begin with. That was our first house in that town. And I remember in the small house on Arbor Drive, wearing things from my mother's closet and sitting down at her makeup table and making a mess of my face. So that's when I'm 3 and 4 years old. And it has continued my entire lifetime, me belonging to femininity, and that's the best way I know how to put it. There's masculinity, there's femininity. I have always belonged to femininity. It is where my soul feels at home and safe and where I belong. That's my house. And so, whatever, as a kid, it's, you know, I'm sure my mom said, stay out of my makeup or whatever, but it's not until a few years later that you learn about shame. And gosh, do we teach our children about shame. Ooh. So then suddenly, me belonging to femininity, and I didn't have those words back then. I just liked girl stuff. Suddenly that became, so shameful, especially in the middle part of the country, where a man is a man, and if you're anything else, it's weak, and it's less than. And to prove my point, if you whistled right past that sentence where I said man and then anything else, and and women get shoved into the everything else category. That's the misogyny, and that's the attitude that was instilled in me as a child. And I'm sure I was hyper sensitive to that sort of messaging. But anyway, so what I started to do with my femininity was, I have a prop. See this? This is a box. So what I started to do was box it up. And so when I would indulge in the place where I felt home, when I was finished with it, I could put it in a box and put it away. And that way I could avoid a whole lot of guilt and shame. Because, yeah, this is a thing maybe I shouldn't be doing, but it's a thing. You see, it's outside of me. And I did all kinds of things with this box. And none of them were nice things. When I say that, that is the understatement of the century. Not nice as like the Grand Canyon is a hole in the ground. So I put these on here. So what I did with them is I labeled them. Let's start with this one. I said that me belonging to femininity was just a weird, strange hobby, okay? And so that's the label that I put on it. Weirdo. And then, it was, after puberty hit, it was, that's a fetish. That's what I enjoy in that way. And so that's the label that got stuck on my box as I put it away. I'm a pervert. And then I thought, well, maybe if I prayed hard enough, that God would save me from this, and that me belonging to femininity was the devil at work. And so that's the label I put on my box. I'm a sinner. And then later, as I grew into adult relationships with people who entered those relationships with me, not knowing any of this about me, because I was good at hiding it, putting it in a box and putting it away, I betrayed those people because of their expectation of my gender. So I'm a cheater, and that's another label that I put on this box. But all of this, for as horrible as it is, I could live through it because if it's in this box, I can always put it away and say, look, this is this thing. And these are horrible things, but it's a thing. And I can put that away. So then, in 2014, I was diagnosed with a disease called Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune disease where my own body is attacking my thyroid, which looked like my thyroid. That looks like a butterfly right about there. And so that scared the shit out of me because I suddenly realized that I could die tomorrow. And if I did die tomorrow, I have this box up on the shelf. And although it was convenient for me to have this box apart from me, I knew how significant this box was to me. And I would be so disappointed in myself if I died without bringing this box down and trying to discover it and trying to figure it out and trying to understand it as it related to me. And so I began a therapy relationship, kind of accidentally, but that's a different story. It's a funny story, but I'll save that. So I was in therapy, as I mentioned on stage, and somewhere in the middle of the summer of 2014, after several sessions, my therapist said to me that I should prepare for the realization that Tina Z is not a thing I do, but Tina Z is who I am. And at the time she said this, I kind of denied it because for 40 some years it was always so easy to put this box away. And and then part of me celebrated this openly with her, with my therapist, and said, isn't this great to make this discovery that it's really just me? And she was like, hold on. Thank God she was such a good therapist, because she realized, well before I did, that if I take that box away, if that box disappears, that these labels don't go anywhere. Whoops. See how sticky they are? She says metaphorically. So, just because I start to come to grips with the reality that this box was convenient for me and kept me alive in some ways, that it doesn't exist, just because I realize that doesn't make these labels disappear. Oh, Lord, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. So, since then, I've been, and by the way, she saw this coming, my therapist saw this coming and held my hand through it. And it was, she did save my life. And so I've been carrying around these labels. This is 40 plus years of shame and self-hate and just awfulness that are now sticking to me. And I'm working on it. And so it took me about 24 hours in Memphis to unclench, I suppose, to let down my guard fully. And I knew I was with people who loved me and were friendly. I understood that on a logical level, but on the deeper emotional level, you gotta remember, I have 40 some years carrying these things with me. And so, it took a while. It took 24 hours. But it was the Friday night concert. And I was sitting over on the side with Charla and Diane and Ray and Laura and Kirk and Michael and Denise and Jeremy were up singing their beautiful set of music. And Pink Elephants, by the way, is one of my favorite songs. I love that one. But I think it was the song before that. Jeremy was singing, and gosh, he hit this line that just was so full of anguish. That it just stabbed my heart. Oh. And I looked down at my heart and saw that for the first time in maybe my entire life. You talk about firsts. That those were gone. Those ugly labels were gone. And I just started weeping. And Charla and Ray reached out for me and grabbed my hand, and then everybody else was just there to hold me aloft and tell me I'm loved, truly, and that I deserve it. Whew, so you want to talk about significant? That was my weekend. Not bad, huh? And so what I'm hoping is that despite how sticky these things are, and trust me, they are sticky, literally and metaphorically, despite how sticky they are, that the more that I'm able to have moments like that where they're peeled off of me, that eventually the stickiness will not be effective anymore, and they just won't stick anymore. And that's what I'm working toward. And if that happens, it will be, the start of that will be Memphis, Tennessee, at the Uke N Roll Jamboree. And so if you were there and you applauded for me, or you were there and you spoke into my ear about how my videos were important to you, or you hugged me, or you cheered me on during my set, or jammed with me, or smiled at me, you are part of that. And to say thank you is not nearly enough, but that's all I have is thank you so much. I love you. You have no idea. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.